Dermavant Sciences CEO Todd Zavodnik shares why they're driven to change how chronic skin diseases are treated.
In dermatology, the two largest disease states are psoriasis and atopic dermatitis, known as eczema. And the option that's been available for the last 30, 40, 50 years has been steroidal topical treatment options. And there's so many limitations to that. Our mission is to move that to a non-steroidal once-a-day treatment option.
Visit dermavant.com to learn more.
At Sleep Outfitters Outlet, great sleep is a big deal. Save 40 to 60% every day on every Sealy, Stearns & Foster, and Tempur-Pedic. Queens as low as $249. Customer exchanges, closeouts, and floor samples. Inventory changes daily, so come in for your dream deal today. With no credit needed financing, expert advice, and up to 60% off retail, it's never been easier to get the sleep and savings you deserve. Go to sleepoutfittersoutlet.com for financing details and to find a store near you.
What's up, y'all? This is Neena PEREZ, and this is Straight Talk, No Sugar Added. And I know that you are here to listen to the best humans on the planet to grow, challenge, and transform your thinking. Let's do this. What's up, party people? This is Neena PEREZ, and this is Straight Talk, No Sugar Added. And I am here on Winject. And as you guys know, I love chilling out here on Winject because they have been an amazing source for me to reach a broader audience, for me to streamline my look, streamline my podcast, lift up the numbers that I have been getting as far as downloads. And Winject has really been amazing. So if you are not a part of my free community yet, please go on to winject.com/register. Register for a free membership there. Just go on there, register for free, and then look for Neena PEREZ and be a part of my community, because I've already written a bunch of ebooks and classes I want to start doing on there, and free, behind the scenes type of work. And I really want you to be a part of that. So please go on there. And you could also go directly to winject.com/groups/Neena PEREZ. And then you can also be part of the groups. That way you'll get right onto the page where you register to be in my group. I am so stoked to be here today. I realize a lot of the things that I've gone through in my life. And, this year, as you guys who watched me, I think it was like 2 weeks ago, was talking about my word of the year, which is transformation. And for me, that word means really taking everything in my life that I have gone through and actually transforming it into something valuable in business and in my life, right? And I want to make sure that that I bring value to you, that I actually bring value, that you actually get to take away from the time that you spend with me on these lives and on my podcast, and walk away with something tangible and something that you can implement in your life or help someone else implement if it's not really directly impacting you, right? So the whole point of broadcasting or podcasting and all of that is to actually put something of value into the world. Yes, a lot of people put out garbage, but they find their tribe. They find people who want that stuff. I want to find the people who are heart-centered and actually want to do something to move forward in their life. That's the kind of people I want to deal with, work with, and impact, right? Hello, my love. This is my beautiful hubby, the Wubbies. I love him so much. And I want you guys to, if you're on here, say hello, comment, all of that. And if you are someone who has something to say of the topic that I'm going to be speaking about, I want to interact with you, because it's important that you understand that I hear you, that I hear your voice, and also that what I'm saying actually resonates with you, good or bad, right? You might not even agree with what I'm saying, but I still want to hear what you have to say, right? I love healthy dialogue. I really, really do. So I wanted to talk to you guys about toxic shame. And the reason I wanted to talk about toxic shame is because it's something that has affected my life for a very long time. And I really want to know from you guys if anybody's ever dealt with shame on any level, right? Toxic shame just kind of sticks around with you longer than it needs to, right? It's kind of like when you're having a conversation with somebody who has bad breath and it just won't stop, right? That toxic shame is like that. It just sticks around and you don't want it there, but sometimes we just ignore it and we leave it there. And I'm reading a really good book by John Bradshaw. And if you are not familiar with him, I really highly recommend you pick up his books. John Bradshaw has a book on shame. I think it's Healing the Shame That Binds You. I think is the title of the book I'm reading right now. It's a phenomenal book. And in there, he said that toxic shame is the greatest form of learned domestic violence. Wow. Toxic shame is the greatest form of learned domestic violence. That is just so freaking powerful. And for those of you who have ever dealt with domestic violence or have been a part of domestic violence or even witnessed domestic violence, you realize the impression that it leaves in you, right? The fear that it causes, the PTSD that it causes, the untrustworthiness towards others that it causes, because domestic violence is a real thing and a very harsh thing in people's lives. So what he's saying is you learn toxic shame actually impacts you and hurts your life. It is a form of domestic violence. And we get a lot of that, unfortunately, domestically through our parents, our siblings, people that are around us in our home. It's usually where it starts, right? This toxic shame that just sticks around you all, and starts to contaminate the way you see yourself, the way you see your circumstances, the way you see your life, the way you see other people, the way you trust and see other people or those around you. It starts to infect you, right? Infect you and spread like an ugly disease, right? And so toxic shame is something that we have to contend with. We have to deal with, because it keeps you from doing the things that make you want to thrive in life, feel better in life, move forward in life. And so a lot of shame comes in and it starts to stop you. And you don't even know why you do the things you do. Why don't you, start that business you want to start? Why don't you move the way where you want to move to? Why aren't you, traveling the way you want to travel? What is going on? And it's because toxic shame comes in and you don't even realize it. It now becomes part almost of your personality and your neural pathways of your brain. And it starts to stop you from being who you authentically and really are meant to be. Who are you really inside? Who are you really? Right? And some of us don't stop to ask the question. That's the problem. And toxic shame, as a result of trauma, let's say as a child, has left you feeling unworthiness, you're not good enough, things happen to you where people were supposed to freaking protect you, right? And it really starts to come in and really formulate your brain and who you are as a person, right? It's I love this. Oh my gosh, it's an anchor around the neck. Yes. Yes, it is. It is an anchor around your neck. And not only is it an anchor around your neck, it feels like an anchor in the water around your neck, right? So it's one thing to have this heaviness in your life all the time, this freaking shame that just traumatizes you all the freaking time. And you're saying, oh, no, Neena, I don't deal with it all the time. If you are not being and living in the authentic and trueness of who you were created to be, because you are afraid of doing this and don't want to do that, and maybe this will happen, and who about that, and what is this person saying, blah, you are living in it. I'm sorry, but you are. And toxic shame, as the result of what happens to us as kids, and you're trying to navigate in your brain, why this is happening, who can you trust? Right. And when you are with family, let's just start with the domestic violence part, right? When you are with family and family hurts you and comes against you and you are a child, you do not feel like you are worth anything. You don't feel good enough and you start to learn survival skills. And sometimes those survival skills are fear, not doing something, not walking outside the line, being a perfectionist, making sure you get 100 all the time, making sure people perceive you in a certain way, right? So you need to start asking yourself, why is it that I care about how people perceive me? You might find out that there's some shame in there that you want to make sure nobody sees, because they're going to perceive you in this wrong way. I know that I had to do the work and I'm still doing the work, and I am helping the women that I'm working with do the work. Why? I want freedom, bro. I want freedom. Okay. And my grandchild says, are you serious right now, bro? Yes, I'm serious right now, bro. It is time for us to make these decisions that are going to transform the way we see ourselves and try to really grab what that is what that shame is and that toxicity that's coming into our lives because freaking life is short. And now, I'm telling my husband, like, I'm 50 now, right? 50 is halfway through my life. I'm done with 50 years of my life is done, right? Because we can't go back. I can't reach back and pull it. I can't, right? All I could do is move forward to the 51 and the 52 if God blesses me with having more years in my life. I cannot keep living in a place of toxicity and shame for the rest of my freaking life, right? So, like, I want to help you guys transcend that and self-actualize who you really are, because we cannot stay stuck here forever, because the next 20 years, 30 years, 50 years, I don't know how long I have on this planet. I don't know how long you have on this planet. Let's freaking go for it, right? And I know that sometimes maybe you said, no, Neen, I have a beautiful childhood. I did really great in my childhood. Okay, then maybe there's some shame that could come in from decisions that you've made. I know it was for me, because I had a lot of toxicity in my childhood and then made stupid ass decisions that brought me more shame in my life, right? If I'm going to be completely transparent, there's a lot of things I've done in my life that have caused me a lot of pain and caused others a lot of pain because of, well, toxicity just causes toxicity, right? So I was going through this, like, this cleansing of toxic feelings in my life, and I realized all the, some, not all, because my list would be too long for me to mention, of all the things that I have done in my life that have caused me shame. It's just too long of a list, right? And so I know that for me, some of the things that I have done in my past have caused people pain and hurt, but also caused me pain and hurt, because I believe in healthy shame, where shame comes in and changes you, and you're like, you know what, I repent of that, I'm sorry, and you change your person, you change your thought process, and you move forward to becoming a better person. But when you have toxicity and shame that you haven't dealt with, then you are just being eaten up alive. Your life is being eaten up alive, and so is everything you want to do in your life being eaten up alive. In my past, and those of you who have read my book, in my past marriage, I had an affair because he had an affair and I wanted to get him back, and I had an affair, and that's not who I am as a human. And when I did it, I felt shame. I felt the shame because I knew that that's not even me. That's not who I am. And I did it anyway out of spite and anger and hurt, right? So when you do things like this, when you're having affairs, when you're repeating a pattern of damaging relationships, like, say, like, I had a domestic violence past, right? My son's father tried to kill me. A lot of you know that. If I would have kept going into the next relationship, which actually was an emotional damage, my marriage was an emotional and mental F up. It wasn't like a physical one like my first relationship, but that relationship also caused damage. And then I said to myself, what am I doing here? What is this pattern? And I started to feel shame around that, shame around not knowing who I was, choosing the wrong people in my life, going through all this stuff. So you see what I mean about shame? Shame can creep into a lot of different ways, guys. It's not just, oh, I was molested as a child, or I was beaten, or I was raped, or whatever that is. It could be making a bad decision in your business and losing a lot of money. It could be having everything going well and then losing everything and feeling ashamed of that. Like, I told my husband this recently. We were talking, and I realized that I was starting to develop some shame and anxiety, but I wasn't sure where it was coming from. And it was because once I did all the work and started, like, really asking myself these questions, I realized that it was because back in 2008, as most of you who are adults know, we had a bad recession. Now, me and my husband were doing really well at the time, and we were about to purchase the home we were living in. We had 2 cars, our kids were doing great at school. They had everything they needed. Like, all this great stuff was happening. And then we lost everything. And we're pretty much homeless without our own home for about a year and a half, right? And it was the toughest times ever. It was just sleeping in our friends' couches, sleeping on the floors, sleeping in our car when we didn't really want to bother them, sleeping in hotel rooms, things like that, right? And I realized that that brought a lot of hurt and shame into my life because, my friend who was giving us the couch, she's amazing and I love her, but she was doing well and her husband was doing well. Like they were working and they still had their jobs and everything. Me and my husband were scrambling to get $100 or $200 a month. It was bad. It was so bad, right? Because my husband's in construction. All of his contracts had canceled and he had no work. It was a tough, tough, tough time. Okay. And that brought a lot of hurt, a lot of shame, a lot of anger, a lot of questioning myself. Was I doing the right thing? Am I smart enough? Can I do this? And all of that came in, and that toxic shame will keep you from seeking to feel better, like finding a mentor, finding counseling, going to therapy, exercising your mind and your body. It stops you from doing all of those things because you are ashamed. And I realized that was starting to creep back up because I know that right now we are in a recession. Everything is super high priced. It is extremely hard for all of us to go to the grocery store. I almost had a heart attack when I almost paid $7 for a dozen eggs. I'm like, I'm just gonna go buy some chickens, right? And the truth is that really did something to me, that 2008 experience. And now with this horrible time that we're in recession and lack, there's also beauty. There's also the fact that I'm building a brand new business. There's also the fact that I'm helping people transcend their shame and move forward in their life. There's also these great things. And I had to really refocus my positive mind, my positive intelligence, and my emotional intelligence to shift and make things see things the way they can be, as opposed to how I want to feel like they are, which is oppression, right? Like feeling this deep oppression of what's happening in the world and around us all the time. And getting into politics is another hard thing to do, because when you do that, you start to hear all these different sides of the story and you try to kind of see what the truth is, right? And it's just all messed up. So I know that for me, I reach out to other coaches, my mentors. I reach out to people who are in the mental health space and all of that. And being myself a person who is into personal development in a mental health space as well, I really utilize those tools to help me move forward and to help my family move forward, right? I mean, pretty much all of us are entrepreneurs. My husband's an entrepreneur, my kids are all entrepreneurs. I mean it's a tough life, but it is a life I'm not ashamed of. And for a long time, I was ashamed. I was ashamed of a lot of things. And that's really helped me stay stuck. It really helps you stay stuck when you have a lot of shame. And asking for help, requires you to be vulnerable. It's going to require you to look deep. It's going to require you to have courage. It's going to require you to be able to step forward and be real about what's going on in your life. It's going to be there to help you. You really have to transcend that toxic shame and really try to move forward with your life. And the only way to do that is by really being vulnerable and having the courage to say, I effed up, or this has happened to me and it's causing me to stay stuck, because toxic shame will prevent you from loving yourself. It's going to prevent you from loving others. It's going to constantly tell you that you're not good enough, that no one loves you, that when people tell you they love you, it's not real, right? And it makes you feel like if people know who you really are, what you really like, what you dislike, that you are not going to be liked, that you're not going to be loved, and that nobody will really respect you or love you underneath all the facade. But I'm telling you, that's not true. Everyone, at least everyone that I want to be around, really, really accepts people for who they really authentically are, as opposed to who they're trying to make pretend they are, because they want people to see them a certain way and it's not even who they are. Toxic shame is your internal bully, and I hate bullies, right? It tells you the lie that you are not good enough. It tells you the lie that you can't move forward. It tells you the lie that you're going to F this up. It tells you the lie that what are you doing trying to pursue dreams? That's not going to happen. That is a lie. My husband will probably laugh because I always say that's a lie from the pit of hell, right? And the truth is that toxic shame is an internal bully, and we have to learn how to maneuver that and quiet that bully down, right? Quiet that bully down. Not that I don't think this toxic shame ever really completely goes away, because there's so many layers to what happens in our life, but there is a way to shut it down and raise up who you are authentically and raise up your awareness of where you want to be in life. And that's what I'm working on in my life. And that's what I want you to work on in your life, because that's where you're going to see true change, true wealth, true transformation, true authenticity, right? That's where you're going to see it, when you start to shut those ugly, stupid voices down, those bullies that come to try to judge you and try to keep you in a certain place, walking a certain way. Remember, your brain is only there to protect you. When you were a kid or when you effed up, it traumatized the brain, and you did something at that moment to survive, right? If that means shutting down, being an introvert, acting shy, staying within yourself, it could mean all of those things. It could mean pushing back. It could mean all of those things that you had to do to survive and transcend that shame. And now your brain has said, okay, that's what we do now. When something new comes in, when something different comes in, when something tries to hurt us comes in, this is what we do. We shut down, we stay quiet, we don't say anything, we move in quietness, we don't have anybody around us. And the more you listen to those lies without questioning them, the more power they have over your life, and the more they stick around. Because the truth is negativity loves to be here, and it's all over. It's everywhere. I can promise you that if you wanted to start a blog or a podcast on just negative talk, you'd have billions of people following you, because negativity loves negativity, right? And the more you listen to that, the more you listen to the lies without questioning them, you're going to keep giving these things power and authority over your life, and you are going to regret it. I promise you that as you try to move on in life, and as you get older, and maybe even if in your deathbed, you're going to be pissed the hell off that you did not transcend all of that shame in your life and stayed stuck. You're going to freaking regret it. I know I am. I'm regretting it at 50. I know I'm regretting a lot of things that I have let control my life in my past. Now, does that mean that I will sit and regret all my life? Nope, because I've learned to transcend that. But the truth is yeah, I wish I could have done things a little bit differently. I can't, because we can't go back, but we can the hell move forward. And that's what I want to encourage you to do. I thought about this. I was, looking at my grandkids, right? So one is going to be, he's 13, he's going to be 14. And the other little peanut, is going to be 4. And then I have my grandbaby baby. He's going to be 4 too. Oh my God, I can't believe it. So anyway, I'm in the, living room, and I'm watching my grandkids play and all that. And I'm looking at my grandson, who's going to be 14. And do you know that at his age, I was already, doing things I shouldn't have been doing. And I was already at the 13-year-old, I was already beaten, molested. I was already in a domestic violent relationship. I was already intimate. I was doing all of the things I shouldn't be doing. And I'm looking at him and saying, I was a baby. I was a child. What was I thinking? Right? You're a child and you have no covering, no protection. And then you're looking at these little tiny babies and these little kids, and you're thinking to yourself, wow, like I was a child. I was innocent. I was uncomplicated. I was playful. I was trusting. I was loving. And children have this innate ability, right, to bond with people in this spiritual being, and to be completely trusting and loving, right? I was looking at my grandkid. He's like making little puppets behind the screen. He's so freaking cute. And he's like, look, an alligator in the water. And all he's doing is this, alligator in the water. And we're like giving him praises. And I'm thinking, he's a child. He's a child. And yet this damage comes in from people who are shame bound and damage themselves, and they damage others. And you have to give yourself grace. You were a kid. You made a mistake. And even if you were older and you made a mistake, give yourself grace. If you were a child, you had nothing to do with what happened to you. You had nothing to do with it. You were a child. All right. So I want you the next time as an exercise, when you are around children, look at them and say, wow, at this age, look how innocent this little kid is. Look how fragile this kid is. Look how, how much they're trying to find themselves at certain ages. Like, give yourself some grace. Okay, give yourself some grace and realize that shame came in because somebody else decided to do something to you that you cannot control. And if it was based on your own decisions, it's because you were not wise enough or smart enough at the time. Let real good shame kind of transcend you of who you really are, like make you better. But don't let toxic shame come in and hurt you anymore. Not all people, you can't trust all people, of course, but according to uh, uh some things I was reading about, like shame and experts and all of this great stuff, because I'm really getting into this and I love it so much, is you can go in and you can deal with this shame. You can really work on this. I promise you that you can. The problem is that toxic shame doesn't even let you trust you. That's the thing, right? You have to want to do the work. And what happens a lot of times is we are so shameful about the things that we have done or the things that were done to us that we, don't trust ourselves. Like, have you ever made yourself a promise? I'm going to lose, 30 pounds by, August, and you're only 10 pounds down because you didn't do the work. Now you don't trust yourself. So you don't trust yourself to lose the weight. You don't trust yourself to go to the gym. You don't trust yourself anymore. And that starts to build up shame because you promised people something and you didn't deliver. And I'm telling you that shame is going to be toxic and it's going to stay with you forever if you don't deal with it. It really starts to cause a demise in your life and what you want to do in your future. I don't want you living there anymore. Stop, because only you can stop it. Only you can stop it. Right now, I highly recommend that you work with people to help you with that, but you need to really deal with what's going on that's not letting you kind of like just like click over to that next thing that you're trying to. Now, most of us, I'm a perfectionist. I will ram right through a problem and I will just keep it moving, right? But never to the full extent of where I want to go in life, because if you have shame, I don't care how high you go, there's still something that pulls you back. You are not 100% actualized into the person you are supposed to be. There's always going to be something that pulls you. And the problem with toxic shame is that when you don't trust yourself, it can be years of believing something that is not even true about you. It's years of believing something that's not even true about you. And it is outdated and it is time to get rid of it. Now, you probably, like I said, promised yourself so many things in life and have broken them. And therefore, you don't even trust yourself anymore, right? So you can't trust yourself. Who can you trust? Trust yourself. Give yourself grace. Understand that you are dealing with something that is toxic, something that is a bully, something that is a domestic violence against you. All right. Ignoring it is not going to help you. It's not going to completely actualize who you are in life, what you are built for and made for, what you have dreamed of. Right? When we were kids, we dreamed of doing all this great stuff. And then something happened where we became realists and don't do those things anymore. Forgive yourself and forgive the other people who have shamed you. It is just not worth carrying all of that in your life. It is important that you grow and develop as a person. And the only way to grow and develop as a person is to let go of shame, to forgive yourself and forgive yourself for not doing everything you told yourself you're going to do. Set yourself free from that anger, from that negative feeling that you have been putting and impeding in your life, putting in your life, and it's been impeding your progress. Okay. I want you to win. And the only way you can win is to deal with that bully, that ugly bully of shame and toxicity that comes into your life that stops you from being the person that I know you can be. I know you can, right? Now, I know that we always hear out there, oh, you're amazing, you're great, you're perfect, just the way you are. Well, not everybody is. There's pedophiles out there, there's rapists out there, there's human traffickers out there. I'm not going to tell you that they're the best people they can be. That's just shit, right? That they do that to other people, and the shame that they bring on others, right? Like when I was beaten and raped, that put shame in my life. When I was molested as a child, that brought on shame in my life. When I made the bad decisions that I made in relationships, that put shame in my life. And I don't want to be ashamed anymore. And that's why I wrote the book. That's why I teach what I teach. That's why my practice is growing, because I don't want to be ashamed anymore. And I the hell don't want you to be ashamed anymore. I want you to be free, and I want you to win. And whatever that means to you, it doesn't mean to have billions of dollars. It could just mean to move forward. It could just mean to do something completely different that you never thought that you would do. It could mean just moving to a new place, or starting a new career, or having a new job, or starting a great relationship. It could be any of those things. But the whole point is that you deal with this monster that is eating at your life slowly, and that is shame. And I want you to literally call his ass out. Like when they come, I want you to look at it and say, no, you are not welcomed here. You are not to be here anymore. I'm done with you. And move forward. I am so glad that I have this opportunity to pour into your life. And I hope that this impacts you in any way that you receive it. I am Neena PEREZ. If you want to talk to me, just email me at hello@straighttalknosugaradded.com and let me know what you thought, what you think, that you want to work with me, that you want to be on the podcast. I don't know, whatever that is. This is Neena PEREZ. This is Winject right here. Make sure that you like, smash that button, all of that great stuff. You know the drill. I love you guys so much for being here. And I thank you, because without you, I wouldn't be doing this. I am truly, truly, truly grateful. Until next time. Hey guys, thank you so much for listening. You are the best. Okay, I have the best podcasting community ever. I really do. And I appreciate you guys being on here. Make sure you go on to winject.com/register, winject.com/register, and register for my free community, because I want to be really connected with you, and I want us to brainstorm and be with each other and connect in a deeper way. If you are looking for coaching, please make sure that you also email me at hello@straighttalknosugaradded.com. I work with women, and I help them develop that business that they are envisioning in their hearts so that they can win. Thank you guys so much for being here. Love you, love you, love you. This is Neena PEREZ, Straight Talk, No Sugar Added. Until next time.